Hey, what's up, guys? This is Luke Jett back with you for the second episode of the Thoughts from the Bench podcast. Here, as always, with Shane Hardy and Ben Marks. How we doing, fellas?
Fantastic.
Excellent. Well, we'll start off talking about the game that just finished about half hour ago. Game 1 of the finals. Spurs took down the Heat by 4. Huge win for the Spurs. I'm thinking the Spurs in 6. I liked what I seen tonight. Tony Parker just dominated everything, and I loved it.
I agree with Luke completely. I don't know, I think Tony Parker is just getting better and better. They're coming off a lot of rest, which is good. Tim Duncan, I'm still waiting for someone to step up and stop him. I don't see it happening. I see the Spurs in 6.
There's where I disagree with you. I think Spurs in 5. Father Time cannot touch Tim Duncan, and he's proven it year after year.
You don't even have to turn back the clock. It hasn't been, it's not able to be turned back.
I'll get Father Time on the phone. He'll be our next interview, you guys. We'll call him, tell him to get Timmy Duncan out of here.
You see Timmy on the floor tonight, man? He hauls. He usually has better foot race.
No way. I'm a speedy demon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Just ask your 10-year-old brother.
I could beat him in a race, and you know it too.
There's no way.
In a straight race, I beat him.
There's no way.
In a straight race, I beat him.
No.
We can do this tomorrow. In a straight race, I beat him. It'd have to be a short distance, like 50 feet.
4 feet?
Enough for my stamina.
And you're not allowed to cut one step. It's got to be a straight line.
Yeah.
I can beat him. There's no doubt.
All right. We'll talk about the middle brother who out-rebounds you.
He cannot out-rebound. I'm so much stronger and a better rebounder than Blake is. He can jump higher, but I'm a better rebounder.
All right, and back to the Spurs. LeBron James pulled down 18 rebounds today.
Probably the Heat, but you go ahead.
It doesn't matter. LeBron James pulled down 18 rebounds today. Is anybody else going to rebound for the Heat? No. Chris Bosh? No.
You got Tim Duncan in the lane. The Heat have to find someone else who can come in there and grab some boards. You got Splitter, Duncan, Bonner, if you want to include him as a rebounder, but
he's not much of a rebounding guy.
Kawhi?
Yeah, Kawhi had a good...
Kawhi goes off on 2K, man. I'm expecting big things from him this series.
No.
If 2K was a direct result on the NBA season, then Ronnie Brewer would have won MVP last year. Russell Westbrook would be dunk-facing everybody in the history, and Carmelo Anthony would shoot 75% from the field consistently.
And Golden State would beat the Thunder in 5 games.
Oh, speaking of that, played 2 games of 2K last night. 3 games, actually.
3 games.
The last 2, I shot 10 for 55 from behind the arc.
That's a lot of shots from behind the arc, but proceed.
That's 18%. Game 2, shot 8% from behind the arc. 8. Like single digits. It was pathetic. 2 for 25, to be exact.
I don't know. Me and Ben have been playing a lot of Spurs Heat in 2K recently. Miami's been hitting shots. Of course, he's too old to do that. Tim Duncan's been grabbing boards, putting shots up, and, he's too old to do that. Ben just, I can't, he can't stop me. Can't stop me.
I want to go high.
Let's go Spurs.
See, it's strange. Shane beats me, I beat Luke, Luke beats Shane. It's like we have a triangle of...
Trust.
Yeah.
Trust.
If you want to call it that.
It's like a Bermuda Triangle, man. No one knows what's going on in there.
Okay, back to the game. Heat down 4, get the ball. LeBron James drives in, kicks out to Chris Bosh. Nobody within 80 feet of Chris Bosh. Let him shoot that. I'm completely content with letting Chris Bosh shoot a 3 to get the Heat back in the game.
Tim Duncan was on the floor, correct?
Yeah, he's on.
Bosh is missing that shot. That's just an intimidation factor. He knew Duncan was somewhere, man.
Yeah.
What?
He knows it.
Intimidation factor?
Oh, dude. That's it. The new word. The intimidation factor. Not intimidation, just intimidation. Because Tim, baby, everyone's intimidated by him.
Maybe 5 years ago.
Ben, like you said, Father Time is, you have to, pop up in Tim's life.
I don't think Chris Bosh shooting a wide open,
He sees him.
21-footers, Tim Duncan has nothing to do with that.
Tim Duncan does.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
No.
He has played or won. I forgot I saw a stat the other day in a playoff game in the last 3 decades. And tell me how you feel about that.
He's old as dirt. Speaking of that,
Dirt.
I'm not gonna go into my stance on soil and the ground out there.
It's pretty wet though.
Yeah, we've had rain for like 7 straight days.
It's like we're in New
It's
Seattle.
sunny the last 3 days here.
Before that, we're gonna get nowhere to build an ark if it was gonna
Yeah. I'm
get
kidding.
on any longer.
We're gonna have to save Scab. Put it on the
Let's
ark.
leave Scab out of it.
How long will you be able to find the ark?
Hey, we're on the air. Let's calm down about Helen.
Screw your dog. Your dog sucks.
Game 2 between the Spurs and the Heat will be Sunday night on ABC, 7 o'clock, I think, something like that. 8 o'clock, regardless. Spurs are going to win Game 2, regardless.
Spurs win Game 2. Let's get it out there. This series is over. If Spurs win Game 2, there's no way. I don't think there's any way. I mean, people say the Heat this, the Heat that. No.
There's one way.
No.
There's one way. Dwayne Wade gets magical tape. Tapes up everybody's knee on the Heat.
Everyone.
Juwan Howard turns back the clock.
Juwan Howard needs to come back in. That's the reason why the Heat lost, is because Juwan Howard was in street clothes on the bench. There's nothing else to
It could
explain.
be possible that LeBron didn't change his shoes at halftime either. I mean, that could have something big. I mean, he must have a rebounding shoes on tonight, but I think next game he might have to put his scoring shoes on a little bit.
I mean, you don't know. Switching gears a little bit. Big win for our Blackhawks tonight. God, I love that song. That is a fantastic song.
Great song, man. We've been fortunate enough to hear it quite often now when the Blackhawks have been playing.
I love it. Game 5 of this series will be Saturday night in Chicago. Hopefully the Blackhawks can close out. Tomorrow night, the Bruins play the Penguins. Bruins are up 3-0 in their series, so NHL Stanley Cup Final could start out pretty early if both teams win. I need to play hockey once.
You have
Terribly.
you cut Ben's lip with his high stick.
Who's in LA?
And refused to go in the penalty box. What kind of bullshit is that?
It was terrible. I had to go to the hospital after the game.
I didn't even go with him to the hospital.
I drove him
You did not drive me. You rode with my mom and I,
just because your mom said she'd buy me Taco Bell.
and it was delicious Taco Bell.
It was delicious Taco Bell.
Couldn't feel the right side of my face, but it was still good.
Hold on a second. Before we go back, I just want to say our last podcast, we made a comment about Corey Crawford and the net, and since we made that comment, just lights out.
Make another comment. Make another comment.
Wow.
So we make another comment that he's playing terrible.
I don't know about that. Like,
Here we go. This is perfect.
okay, Crawford makes the best of saves sometimes, but the ones that get by him are the easiest of saves.
That's Ben, but the question is, are the Hawks winning games? No. It's a simple question.
No.
It's a simple question.
You said Crawford has been great behind the goal. He has not been great.
Are they winning games? That's my question.
No,
Well, he would be great if they were behind.
My question
He was
is,
behind the goal.
are the Blackhawks winning games? That's all I want.
You do not say that.
That's
to
the
begin with,
question I'm
though.
asking right now.
Yes, they are winning games,
that's
but
it.
it's not their
Shut down.
goaltending that is winning.
In Major League Baseball now, the
Timeout. Ben said behind the goal. If Crawford was behind the goal, the Hawks wouldn't be in the series. So
They need to bring in Emery. I mean, that's it.
put Emery in the goal, Crawford behind the goal. Genius.
excellent. And then Crawford,
You can't hit him.
Crawford can stick his leg out and trip people too.
It's genius. It's genius.
Mhm.
Crawford's only given up 7 goals in 4 games of the series. Switching gears to Major League Baseball, they have the draft tonight, which the Cubs picked second because they are terrible. Sox picked 17th because they flirted with a division title all the way up till about September 2nd.
What's new?
Until Detroit took over.
Yeah, until Miguel Cabrera decided, hey, I'm going to win Triple Crown and an MVP.
I hate him.
Of course you do. In the aforementioned draft today,
Welcome back to the draft.
the Cubs picked out a third baseman outfielder from San Diego University, Chris Bryant.
Maybe they'll play both for next year at the same time. That's what they need, man.
I hope he
Somebody who can play multi-positions at the same time.
can pitch. And with the 17th overall pick that the Sox had, they picked up Tim Anderson, the shortstop from a junior college in Mississippi.
Alexei!
No! Yeah, so Tim Anderson, hoping he's got some junior college pride in there.
Representing.
Yeah, we got a JJC Wolf right here. Growl. So,
I see. What's Growl?
What do wolves
I
do?
don't know. What do
I think they do growl.
They growl?
No, they
they howl.
they growl when they're mad, and then they start barking.
By the way, Ben Marks is also a wolf expert.
Have you ever seen the movie The Gray? Come on.
In other news,
Cubs and Sox are both terrible. They're probably both picking the top 10 next year. Cubs hopefully number 1. We have a blogger from BleacherNation.com. His name is Brett Taylor. I've tweeted him a few times. We emailed him, got in contact with him, and
we're here with Brett Taylor. Brett, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Luke. How are you?
I'm good. So the Cubs are obviously 9 games under 500 as we speak.
Terrible at baseball, yes.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So basically they're going to be sellers at the deadline. What do you think their most valuable trading piece is right now?
I think it's still a little early to say for sure, and that's largely because the guy who could be the biggest piece is probably Matt Garza. But to get to that level of being the clear best chip the Cubs have, he's going to need to keep doing what he's been doing for these first few starts off the disabled list. But Garza's a tricky case anyway. You know, he has the potential to be the top available pitcher on the trading market, but at the same time, we're entering this era where quality pitchers are really hard to acquire, and Garza likes it in Chicago. He seems like a good fit for where the team is, and although he's a free agent after this year, maybe he's a guy that the Cubs would like to still have around for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
And so, obviously, you pretty much kill any chance of bringing him back if you deal him mid-season. So the Cubs have kind of a delicate balance decision to make over the next month and a half, and maybe they try to extend him, and if that doesn't work out, then they decide, you know, okay, we've got to take this value right now at the deadline and turn him into something so that he doesn't leave and we get nothing. And so that's going to be an interesting storyline. Otherwise, you know, it's going to be the usual suspects of the guys on one-year deals like a Feldman or a Gregg. Alfonso Soriano still got another year and a half on his contract, but seems like he's finally ready to move on. David DeJesus could be a nice piece. So, I mean, I think that's kind of the core of trade chips that you're looking at.
And I seen you wrote on Bleacher Nation yesterday about a Starlin Castro trade.
Yeah, I mean, mostly I wanted to write about it from the perspective of it still seems crazy to talk about it.
Yeah.
Folks have brought it up. I was listening on the radio to John Heyman was on the Score yesterday. Understandably, because of Castro's slump this year, Heyman's going to get asked about Castro's trade value. You know, Cubs fans are sort of reactionary by nature, and so trading Castro comes up not infrequently. And so I wanted to take that opportunity to at least address what his trade value would be if that ever came up, but also at the same time point out that we're talking about a 23-year-old that's on a very team-friendly deal, has a lot of talent, and it still seems way too early to be talking about just trying to dump him for value.
Yeah, I gotcha. Another big part that the Cubs are looking at is, of course, renovating Wrigley Field. What's your favorite part of the project?
Oh, that's a great question. I talk so frequently about the renovation, and I've never been asked that, so you have to give me just a second to think here.
It's fine.
If done well, I'm looking forward to the Jumbotron. I love Wrigley. I love the history of it. I love the quaint feel of it. But at the same time, you know, when I'm out there in the bleachers watching a game, a lot of times you want to see a replay. You want to see kind of what else is going on in the sports world without having to check on your phone, which of course is not getting service because there are 50,000 other phones in the immediate area.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the ballpark just kind of seeming like it's in better shape than it is now. I mean, you walk around the concourse and you can just tell that it's old and that it needs kind of a gut job. And I'm also pretty excited about the proposed plaza to the west of the ballpark, kind of an open air area with some concessions and food and beverage, community events, and the renderings of that look pretty cool, and it just kind of enhances that entire Wrigleyville feel. And so it'll be a while till all that's done, but I think it'll be pretty cool.
Yeah. A big thing in baseball just came out yesterday was about the PED testimony and the alleged stuff with performance-enhancing drugs with Ryan Braun and Alex Rodriguez. You have any comment or take on that?
Well, it was very surprising to me that it's potentially going to move to the level of actual suspensions without any positive tests. That's always been within the authority of Major League Baseball, but nobody really thought they were going to be willing to take it to that level. It's a weird situation because you've got some folks feel like MLB is kind of exceeding its authority and really pushing to punish some guys. For example, Ryan Braun, who they feel like got off on a technicality last time.
Mm-hmm.
And so you would expect the Players Association to fight MLB on this pretty strongly. On the other hand, the Players Association is made up of hundreds of clean players that want to see that, if guys are cheating, they want to see them punished. And so it'll be interesting to see the position of the Players Association if and when MLB decides to actually make a decision and hand down some suspensions. It has the potential to be a very huge story. I mean, not just because of the big names involved. You got Rodriguez, you got Braun, Melky Cabrera, Nelson Cruz, but because of the fact that it would be the most serious crackdown that MLB has ever had on PED use, and it doesn't even involve any positive tests. So, and also, let's not forget that the way this has come about is that they have basically retained Tony Bosch, the man at the center of this biogenesis clinic, to name names. And he may have other names that didn't show up in the documents. And so I don't want to blow this up and say, oh my gosh, half of baseball could be implicated, but there could be additional names forthcoming that we haven't heard yet. And that always adds to the tension.
Yes. Well, besides being an avid Cubs fan, you are also a blogger and a podcaster on BleacherNation.com. What's your favorite part about being a blogger, podcaster, insider?
Of course, a huge thing is I like that it marries my passion and fandom to my job. I mean, I feel crazy fortunate to be able to talk about the Cubs for a living. It's, I would be obsessing about them anyway, and I did, of course, for years, just as a fan and a consumer of online media. And so to be able to, have people that actually, for whatever reason, care what I say about the Cubs is pretty rewarding. And as far as what I like the best, I love doing the podcast with Sahadev, but I really like when there is kind of like hot breaking news or rumors, like big trade is going down, or like the biogenesis stuff last night. I love the excitement of when news stuff is happening and the ability to kind of talk about it in real time. And that's kind of a cool thing about the internet and blogging, is that it's sort of an ongoing conversation, and you can start it up as the news happens and then just kind of keep going. And it's a lot of fun to cover. Of course, it comes with risks that maybe you speak too soon on something, or you you have to be very careful to think before you write, because obviously once something's out there, it's out there.
Mm-hmm. All right, so now we're going to move into the session of the interview where I'm just going to ask you rapid fire questions and just give you first answer that pops in your head.
Okay.
For those who don't know, you live in Ohio. What's your favorite part about living in Ohio?
I love Chicago, but it's very livable here. It's a lot less expensive, and you can get a lot more house.
Favorite restaurant in Chicago?
Cozy Noodle, which is just down the street from Wrigley.
This may take a while, but your best and worst Cubs memory?
Game 6 in 2003 is pretty clearly the worst.
On my birthday.
Oh God, that's awful.
Yeah.
Best, the Gary Gaetti homer back in 1998 in the tiebreaker with the Giants. That was pretty sweet. Sammy's chase in 98 was great. It's kind of sad to have to dig back 15 years for best moments. Yeah, there were some great moments in the 2008 season. That team was very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll go with. It's probably lazy to say the 20 strikeout game, but that was pretty sweet.
Yeah. All right. Favorite baseball movie?
Gosh, it's got to be The Sandlot, probably. Yeah, it's got to be The Sandlot.
It's a classic. Favorite ballpark you've been to besides Wrigley?
I really like. I go to. I guess I'm biased because here I'm in Ohio, so I go to see the Cubs at Great American in Cincinnati a lot, and I like it especially because the contrast with Wrigley. It's obviously a new ballpark with all the modern stuff. It's pretty nice.
Best show you're watching on TV right now?
Oh, that's the best question. On TV right now, well, it's got to be Game of Thrones, especially after no spoilers, but pretty unbelievable episode this week.
And last one movie that's out in theaters that you're waiting to see.
Well, I don't know if it's out in theaters yet, but they've been running a lot of trailers for. Is it called like This Is the End? And it's got like all the
Yes,
celebrities at
yeah.
a party, and the world starts to end, and it looks kind of funny.
Yeah. All right. That wraps up our interview with Brett Taylor. You can go on Twitter or Facebook. He's at Bleacher Nation. Go read his blog. I do it every day. It's fantastic. Thanks for being on, Brett.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Luke.
Big thanks to Brett Taylor for being on the podcast. He was a really nice guy. Hopefully we can have him back around the deadline, maybe get some insider news or whatever.
Yeah, be nice to have him back.
Oh man, we are already at 25 minutes.
Let's go, Knicks!
Yeah, we need to cut this down to a 2-minute warning.
Dose! God, speak of the devil.
Hate that.
That guy, who would hire him? Who would hire him? Him and Eric Spoelstra. What a coach. Talk about coach of the year. My ass. Sorry for my language, Sandy. That is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. He is not a good coach. That announcer is awful. No one wants to hear Dose. Every time there's 2 minutes left, you can stop saying it.
Actually, George Karl got Coach of the Year, and he just got fired today.
That's terrible.
I mean, so what if he didn't make it past the first round of the playoffs? I mean,
In 8 of the 9 years he made the playoffs.
yeah, but I mean, they don't have a superstar.
They really don't. And Dino was hurt this year.
Yeah, and Gallinari missed the playoffs, so
They don't have a superstar, and he gets them into the playoffs.
They caught the Splash Brothers at the wrong time.
yeah.
Klay Thompson and Steph just went off in that series. Alright, we are going to hit the time of the show where we're going to go our 2-minute warning. Alright, we're going to hit the 2-minute warning and do just a rapid-fire session of random sports tidbits. Ben, take it away.
Today in tennis, Roger Federer got swept in straight sets.
Next. Doing the French Open for anybody who actually follows tennis and listens to the podcast. Well, if anybody listens to the podcast and actually watches tennis, they probably won't listen to the next podcast.
And just so you know, as you can probably tell, Ben doesn't watch tennis.
Caught on SportsCenter this morning. I'm gonna guess, I think Novak Djokovic, is that the guy?
I think, yeah. It's my favorite to win all.
Yeah.
Alright, we'll go to that. Tiger Woods was named highest paid athlete in the world, I believe. And speaking of golf, me, Luke, and Ben, and our other friend Brandon, who's not here with us, have a GSW, where we went to school, alumni golf outing. We graduated from high school 1 year ago, and this will actually be our second time in the GSW hunt for the orange jacket. Last year we came in 5th place. A lot of people accused us of cheating. Ben, what are we doing one next?
You want to say any movies coming out?
The Purge comes out tomorrow. I saw that. It's on my watch list.
Do you have a watch list?
Yes, I do. Last week, Now You See Me came out on my birthday, actually, and I want to see that.
And I believe that will wrap it up. Anybody else got anything to say? No? Good? Any shout-outs? Anything?
Trying to think here. Who can we give a shout out to? We got to give a shout out to somebody.
Yeah, big 30 followers. We need to get that up, people.
Yeah, come on, step up.
But
your
for
game.
you followers and the people who like us, we love you. We want to hear from you. Keep giving us shout-outs. Big shout-out to you, John Posing,
Oh yeah.
tweeting out. We gained, as a podcast, 15, 17 followers just after that shout-out. Huge, huge thanks to John Posing.
For those of you who don't know John, which most of you probably don't, he was our high school baseball coach. And after we graduated and moved on, he went and coached girls softball. this year they made it all the way to the Elite Eight. You know, big shout out to all, you know, the Panther girls who were in that this year. You know, yep. Tom's very proud of what you did. But yeah, just big congratulations to John Posing and the girls softball team, and that's who our shout out would be for this week.
And that was a little bit belated. Of course, that happened before last week's podcast, but still, very great accomplishment for everybody. So we're gonna hand this out. For Ben, Shane, I'm Luke, and catch you back here next time. Peace out.